Hey there, welcome to my patch walkthrough for my most recent thing, Behind the Stars. Let's start with the bass drum. On my velocity track, I've set it to gates and it's just running some gates here. That's then triggering my ADSR, which then in turn is patched in the bay to control the pitch of oscillator 2. Oscillator 2 is set to really low, basically out of audible frequencies, but then that's being brought up to audible pitch with the ADSR. And the amount the ADSR is changing that is sent through attenuator 1. So, the fun part of this all, though, is actually what's happening up here. So that oscillator 2 is being sent into channel 4 of maths, and then that is also being sent to channel 1 of maths as well. And then the main audio signal is coming out of the OR, which only takes the highest value of the 4 inputs. So if I'm set like this, it basically functions pretty normally. But if I begin to mess with things like this, it does some interesting wave shaping and rectifying. This orange cable is also bringing in the noise from the Minibrute, attenuate a little bit over here, and then brings this in. That all is then being sent out and controlled by the AD envelope for its actual VCA volume. This third input here on maths is also interesting because it just can cut out part of the waveform. Giving some interesting feel to what this bass drum can sound like. So that's the bass drum. On to the bass voice. Plaits here is playing for us on the FM settings. Pressure track here is giving me I just kind of dialed in random amounts of voltage from 0 to 1 volts going into the volt per octave over here. Didn't think about it too much, just found something that I like the sound of. So that's that. And hand played this. To get some cool changes throughout. That's just being sent over here to the Three Sisters into the low input. And that is being triggered by the sync output from the Minibrute. That's basically even 16 notes. The final voice is being played by the Minibrute, its main oscillator here, but also by the filter resonance. So let's bring that in. What you're hearing right now is only the filter resonance, so I have the resonance turned up quite a bit. but then that's also being peaked even more by this LFO on square waves seeked in the tempo. And through lots of trial and error, I got it to kind of tune with it by patching the keyboard input into the FM. I tried doing it with the cutoff, which is probably the right way to do it, but it didn't work right for me the first time, so I gave up quickly and fiddled with this, even though it's probably the harder way. So with those, and just the resonance. Obviously it's out of tune already, even though it was a second ago. So that's that top voice that's being taken out of the main amp of the Minibrute, which is just set on droning, going into here just to attenuate it so I can turn it off and on, into the center input of my Three Sisters. And then those two low and center are being malted together as the manual says you can do, and that's being sent out to my main mixer and VCA as well, with the inverse of the AD giving a slight duck to the bass drum to both the bassline and the lead thing. Main mixer then out into the FX8, into what I had to look up later was a delay ping pong chorus. That's just kind of a fun little sound. Kind of let me go crazy there at the end there and mix things up, but also just a cool kind of background feel to it. Well, there you go. That's my most recent patch. I should also mention VCA or LFO2 is patched into the FM input of Three Sisters to give a little life to that. Keep making music.